So you still have to get a permit from DOT. And so DOT can issue permits for those driveways. So the standard is trying to get to the 400 feet, center line to center line. And where you've got parcels that might be in common ownership, they would be treated as one, again, to minimize the number of driveways. So you still have that ability from SCDOT to be able to get driveway permits that might be less than that 400 feet, but that's the standard we're aiming for, because that's what SCDOT has right now.
And something like that, I think the hardship provision may also apply.
Meg, would you say that these standards that we're talking about putting in place for the whole corridor are any more burdensome or onerous than you'd find anywhere else in the country that's trying to maintain a high quality of development?
No, I would not. I've seen some that are far more rigorous than this. I think, what the committee and the commission have tried to do with this is we got some great input from the public and what they cared about, and which is why there's so much attention to the landscaping and the buffering, and there were a lot of comments from the public about that. But I think, so much of the detail is focused on the corridor edge to make sure that what happens on the balance of the property is what you would already be finding to be true in Fort Mill anyway. So the fact that emphasis is on the corridor edge itself probably puts it in about the middle of the road. But I think that recognizing that you can do this in advance of development coming to the bypass will serve you well for a long time, both in terms of the character and being able to maintain the mobility of the bypass for the reason it's being constructed in the first place.
In tapping on to his question, do you find that this particular corridor is of length and similar length and sizing to what other communities or municipalities our size are looking to manage?
I've seen them all over the place, but and I've seen some that are much shorter. I think one of the things that is important about the length of this corridor is that it really is a gateway from 77 into your community. So you're really looking at this as making a statement to the folks who may be visiting for the first time, maybe a future resident, maybe a future employer who wants to locate in Fort Mill. So I think it is, given who's going to be passing through here and what that approach is, the start and end makes a lot of sense. So I've seen them much longer too, but it's a size for what you're trying to accomplish.
Are you going all the way up Sutton Road to I-77?
It goes from 77 on its westernmost point, and so we're going off of the alignment of the bypass there, and then the bypass picks up, takes you all the way around to the east side.
Okay. Any other questions, comments?
Thanks, man.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank
Sure.
you.
Joe?
Yeah, I just wanted to add a couple things real quick. We did notify, we have about 50 or so property owners whose property would be impacted by the overlay district. We did send out a notification to all of them, letting them know that this information would be presented tonight. And then as of right now, we also have a public hearing scheduled for the January 13th meeting here at Town Hall at 7 p.m. So anybody who wants to come and provide feedback or comments on the proposal would have an opportunity to do that on January 13th. Again, last thing I want to say is just thanks again to the Fort Mill Southern Bypass Advisory Committee, the Planning Commission, and to Land Design for all the hard work that they put into this project, as well as, we had probably 40 or so people attend each of our public meetings. So we had a pretty good turnout. I know one day it was pretty nasty outside, and we still had a pretty good turnout. And we definitely value that feedback, and we listened to it, and we incorporated it into these recommendations. So just wanted to say thanks again to everybody who's been involved to this point. And once we get to the item on the agenda, if there's any other questions, we'll be happy to answer those.
Joe, regarding the possible application for hardship and clarifying whether or not they're eligible and that sort of thing, what will the process for that involve? There's an opportunity to consult with the planning staff to get the particulars on that, to make sure everybody understands what qualifies, what possibly does not qualify, and that sort of thing?
Yeah, the way it's set up in the ordinance, I think really out of necessity is a little bit vague. Really, it depends on what they're doing and the specific nature of the project and of the hardship itself. For example, any sort of commercial development under our commercial appearance review process has to go before the Planning Commission for review and approval. And what this ordinance does is it gives the Planning Commission the ability to make those decisions if they think that there's a hardship situation. Certain types of development may only require staff review, and for those, it allows us to use some limited discretion to determine if some provisions could apply. But it still leaves that option open. If the applicant doesn't like what we decide, that they can still go before the Board of Zoning Appeals to get a variance. So it really, truly is going to be on a case-by-case basis.
Okay. Anything else, guys? Thank you very much. Very detailed presentation. Very, very productive process. We, again, reiterate, we appreciate all the participation from all the stakeholders in the process.